Hello my friends, my name is Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales, and welcome to a beginner's guide to the Tomb Kings faction. So this will be a starter guide aimed at people who have not played as the Tomb Kings yet for Total War Warhammer 2 in the Vortex campaign, and are perhaps looking to, get themselves into it, learn the basics, and sort of, think of it like an introduction to the faction and how they play. Speaking as how they play, this pops up on the screen as soon as you enter a campaign with them. The followers of Nagash. Within the Black Pyramid, a great power lies dormant, waiting to be unlocked by the better of the 9 books of Nagash. So basically it tells you how to play as them. You have to collect a bunch of books, which is signified up here. Books of Nagash. You can see you start off with one of them, you've got to collect 5 within this campaign. I should also tell you at this stage that I am playing as Arkhan the Black, but they do all play very similar. But I've picked Arkhan for this particular video. Days of Awakening. Tomb Kings factions can recruit into their armies without the need to pay for their recruitment or upkeep. I'll go into this in a second as well. And also Dynasties. Tomb King factions must delve into their past secrets to increase the number of armies or heroes they can field or enlist. And then finally Mortuary cult. They can spend their canopic jars within the Mortuary cult, where Lich Priests combine them with trade resources to craft magical items. So quite a lot to take in by there early on, so I'm going to simplify things for you all. Start off with, you get a mission issued by here. Collect any of the 9 books of Nagash. That will give you 3,000 coins and 25 canopic jars. Another one's been issued as well, 1,000 treasury, 15, and that's to capture and occupy a settlement belonging to the following faction, Knights of the Flame. So these are your basic missions that you get early on. Research a dynasty technology, I get 1,000 for that as well. So let's talk about the Tomb Kings and what they have. Books of Nagash. 1 of 5. We actually have the 9th book of Nagash, and that enables recruitment of certain vampire count units, which is one thing which is specific to just Arkhan the Black. The other ones don't actually have that, but they all have different books. 2nd book of Nagash gives you campaign line of sight over regions with golden idols, marble and gemstones, and a bit of income from trade. And then it's got the 5th book of Nagash, and you'll see if I click on this one, to unlock it I have to defeat this army. I click on here and that army's down there. Basically they pop up on the map like this with a big beam, and you got to defeat that army in battle. You then win the book, and then yeah, you unlock it then, and you can basically use the rewards best you can. They're all on here. You just need to collect 5 of them. So the best thing to do, I would say, for a beginner is to look for these nearest ones. So we've established that this one's there. So if we go here, the Lost Plateau, quite close, we could go for that one. This one's also on the, so you've got 3 of them sort of in the south by here. One over there, one by there. One over there. Vulture Mountain is actually the nearest one, so you could go for that one first. So you can see you haven't even got to leave this region, this continent, because a bunch of them are on this area right by here. So you haven't got to worry about going over to the High Elves over here, or the Dark Elves, or the Lizard Men. You've got them all on this one piece of land here, so that's totally fine. You haven't got to worry. So your actual main objectives you can do, and basically, I fight the Dwarves here, I take Vulture Mountain, I get a book of Nagash. I fight the Beastmen down there, I get a book of Nagash, and that's how it's done basically. Now you mentioned earlier about recruiting lords. Any other faction you can go in, I've got money, I can go raise lord. By here I can't do it, and it actually says you are currently fielding the current maximum number of lords. Unlock additional lords through dynasty panels, and you can see by here 1 of 1, that is my maximum. But if I show you this by here, dynasties, if I research any of these, so if I was to research the first dynasty, it would take 15 turns, and after 15 turns I would have an army capacity of +1, so I could then field 2 armies. If I get the 2nd dynasty, that would be 3 armies. Get the 3rd would be 4 armies, and so forth, and that's how you can unlock certain armies. If I was to research the 1st dynasty here, after 15 turns I could then go for the proclamation of the 1st dynasty. I could recruit that. I could start going for these 3 by here, and I could also start going for these 3 here. Bear in mind, some things do cost canopic jars rather than money, like this one for example. I start off on no canopic jars and 5,000. And that's basically how you go through the tree here. One of the things I love about the Tomb Kings is the Mortuary cult, which is this by here basically. This tab, which the dwarves also have, it got added in an update, but the Tomb Kings DLC actually brought this in. I can get an army from getting canopic jars and having a bit of money left over. I can unlock the flock of Jaff, which are carrion war beasts, with a bit of money and some canopic jars. I could basically use the canopic jars that I get from battles and from agents and stuff, and the money that I get through my campaign, and resources from trade or settlements I've taken, and use them to get better units. So these are Legions of Legend. So I can get Venom Knights of Asaph, which are Necropolis Knights, which are monstrous cav. Of course, they're armoured and shielded with armour piercing and poison attacks. Pretty good unit to have. Thought to get better weapons for my legendary lords. I could actually do that. I could go right down the bottom here. Crook and Flail of Radiance. Plus 8 melee attack, really good. Plus 8 melee defense, really good. The weapon strength is plus 10. And there's a bound spell called Banishment, which causes moderate magical damage, good against armour, and strong against multiple units. It obviously costs quite a lot of resources and some canopic jars, but it's probably worth getting later in the campaign. Same with armour, so you can really go to town here, get the best weapons and armour, and enchanted items and talismans, and buff up your legendary lords. One of the things I love with this campaign. So canopic jars, how do you get them? You get them from a variety of different means, I guess, which I will show you in a second. Now with Arkhan the Black, let's actually show you him. What he looks like, lovely. Would you love to wake up in bed next to that? I'm sure some of you would. He starts off with a trait, the Lich King. It's plus 5 melee attack for embedded heroes in his army, and plus 5 melee defense for embedded heroes in his army as well. So if you've got any kind of Lich Priests or anything like that in his army, they're going to be slightly buffed by him. Yeah, the basic stuff. That's just about it to begin with. But he's not too bad. Starting off nearly 5,000 on hit points. He's okay. It's the region of the map that you're in. You should be able to dominate early on and buff him up quite nicely. You can buff him up through the stuff that you get here. So what I recommend getting, Spirit Leech early on is probably good. Good against lots of combatants, which you will be up against early on. Get Life Leech in. Aspect of the Dread Knight's always good to cause terror, which you're going to want to get. And Soul Bite's not too bad to debuff the enemy with their armor and weapon damage. So they're quite good things to get early on. The Tomb Blade of Arkhan is a unique item. Summons a larger unit of skeleton warriors and good at defending spellcaster. Not a bad thing to get. You can get a mount, you can get a skeletal steed, you can get a chariot. You go through the things he gets. Rank 8, he gets missile resistance. Right-handed Nagash is really good. Plus 10% hit points. Look at that hit point. He's on 4,800 now. That will put him up to 5,300. And Winds of Magic Power Reserve goes up. Plus he gets a recruitment rank for Fellbats, Direwolves, Crypt Ghouls and Hexwraith. The good thing is you get Vampire Count units and you get your usual Tomb Kings units. So they're quite a nice little hybrid faction with Arkhan. Necro Strike is what you're going to be wanting to aim for. Causes terror and plus 75% weapon damage. That is really, really strong. So what you're going to want to do in this campaign, you're going to want to go down the Indomitable Will, Spirit Leech kind of trees here. Eventually get the Tomb Strike, so you get plus 25% weapon damage and terror, and then you increase that tenfold by getting Necro Strike at the very end. Very good thing to get in his troop tree. Obviously the usual things you get from most of your generals, like Route March, is going to help. Public Order, I'd probably ignore that, but you could probably get that if you wanted to, an income from raiding. Depending on how you play, if you want to raid enemies and stuff, you could definitely go for that. Cash your replenishment, but bear in mind you're going to get agents and stuff in this. You know, you're going to get Lich Priests and stuff like that, so you can get them to get this sort of stuff. And where you start off, if I can go through everything, you get to Prince Berecht by here, and obviously Arkhan. You get 2 and that's it. Prince Berecht is a Tomb Prince, and this is what I mean. You can get the training thing with him. The public order bonuses, spread, you spread public order. You can assault garrisons, assassinate, assault units. You can get all of this stuff, and then you can stick him up here, Indomitable Will, and get lots of good stuff. But the good thing about the Mortuary cult is I could craft a bunch of stuff in the Mortuary cult here. Arkhan might have some pretty good stuff anyway from some of the battles that I fought with him. I could give them to him instead, Prince Berekt, my Tomb Prince. So I could do that if I so wanted to. Now, Arkhan the Black, this is the army he starts off with. Pretty lackluster, I guess. You've got Crypt Ghouls, which are okay. You've got Skeleton Spears, which are your throwaways. Skeleton Archers, which are pretty good early on. Fell Bats can be quite useful, but your main unit is going to be your Tomb Scorpion. They're Coast Terror, they're anti-infantry, they're armor piercing, they're armoured. They will rip through most things that you'll come across. I'd also recommend putting your Tomb Prince in with Arkhan to start off with. Pop him in there, get a little bit of extra experience, plus you've got an extra unit on the battlefield to use. And you can see by here, recruitment off the bat. This is how recruitment works. I have 2 Crypt Ghouls, I'm allowed a maximum of 4. To get more Crypt Ghouls, I'd have to build more buildings elsewhere in the Empire. It's quite a nice way of making the campaign challenging yet fun. You can't spam all the best units and stuff. You have a sort of a limit on what you can recruit. So 4 of them. I could have 4 Direwolves, I could have 4 Fellbats, and it tells me I've got 1 of 4. Your basic bog standard units like Skeleton Spears and Skeleton Warriors, you can get as many of them as you want to, but everything else comes with a price and a limit. Speaking of price though, there isn't actually a price. I can recruit Crypt Ghouls here. I'm not losing any money. They cost nothing, so that's the other thing. Even though you're limited, they are free. So I could have a stack here, I could throw my army in willy-nilly and lose a hell of a lot of troops by playing quite aggressively. And that's fine, because they don't cost a damn thing, and I can replace them easily enough. So bear that in mind as well when you are recruiting. And everything else is fairly similar to usual campaign mechanics of Warhammer 2. This is a Vortex campaign, except you haven't got to worry about the Vortex. So when you've got your Skaven down by here, and your Lizardmen over here, your Dark Elves and your High Elves, all vying for control, and all trying to charge towards the Great Vortex here, and getting the lead of the kind of graph, you're just collecting books. You're being Harry Potter by here, you're being a librarian, you're just collecting books and smashing armies as you go around. I played the Tomb Kings DLC Vortex campaign when it first came out. I loved it. It was one of my favourite factions from Warhammer 2. So I'm going to show you a battle now, guys. Arkhan the Black is going to fight against Cedric Le Troubadour, Knights of the Flame. It's a Bretonnian faction which is based here. They actually start off with Sorcerer's Isle, Lashiek and Kofa. So you've got 3 which you can take out straight away. And you're going to want to get all of these so you can complete Lands of the Assassin. You'll notice the Lands of the Assassin, you have the capital with the walls early on. You start off with a muster bar, and you can get that up to a mausoleum. Gives you a nice garrison there. And there's some good stuff you can build here as well. You start off with a Grave Hill, which gives you your basic kind of vampire units. You can get that up to an Ancient Burial Mount. If you want to get the Hexwraith Cavalry, which I would recommend getting, because they do cause terror and they do have armor piercing, which is always a good thing to have in campaigns. As far as early on, it's up to you. You get some different units. If you want to go for chariots early on, you can. Get some open graves, increase your capacity, and get some archers. If you want to go for more archers, definitely get that early on. And you go for Quicksand Swamp for more cav. Personally, I'd get this, open graves, and then go up here straight away to get Nehekara warriors, because they are just much better than your basic skeleton warriors. So I'd recommend getting that early on. But before I do that, other things to consider. Up here, restored War Sphinx statue, Necrosphinx statue, and Hero Titan statue. These 3 units are probably your 3 best units in your faction. Hero Titan, armor piercing, armored spellcaster, causes terror, ridiculous amount of HP. The same with my Necrosphinx, the same with my Kemrian War Sphinx. Get them late game, you won't regret it. And get this, Scorpion Nest. You've got one. Try not to lose your Scorpion early on, because it's going to take you up until a tier 4 building before you can get another one, which is a little bit of a bummer. And you can see by here, unit capacity +2 for Scorpions. You start off with 1 and get a further 2 by getting this, but this is going to be sort of mid to late game. You have to try and farm as much money as you can. So recommend doing this, getting this, because I can get more archers. Because at the moment I can't get any archers at all apart from the 2 I start off with. But I'm going to start off aggressively here, and I'm going to actually fight my first battle against the Knights of the Flame. They have ran off, which is quite annoying, but I can reach them this turn, which is great. Some faction traits to tell you about. They have channeling here as well for Winds of Magic Power Reserve. But this is what I want to show you over here. Entomb Beneath the Sand. It gives you the army ability of Sand Veil, makes you unspottable, and gives you Vanguard deployment when attacked, and they are immune to attrition. So definitely want to use Entomb Beneath the Sand when you are able to. Quite a useful thing to have. Beware of the Beastmen. They don't actually hate us, not at war with us at the moment, but they are running around here, so be careful of them. And let's do it, guys. Let's go and fight this first battle. Could auto this because we do outnumber them, but I want to show you this battle just to give you an idea of how strong that Tomb Scorpion is and how to sort of use this army effectively. Because you know, like I said, you're a hybrid army of vampire units and Tomb King units, skeletons, scorpions, and then I've also got like bats in by here, so it's a bit all over the shop really. We're going to start deployment. They're over in the tree line by there. And my Tomb Scorpion can actually deploy out by here. I think they're the only ones that do. Yeah. The Scorpion is the only one that can. So I could be sneaky and actually put my Scorpion sort of hidden away by here, look. And near enough where I can do a lot of damage to them. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and get my rest of my infantry just to sort of charge in. The bats, I won't put them in with them. My 2 archers, I'm going to put them on the flanks by here. Get them to fly in. That's pretty much everything. And we're going to start the battle here. This up the top, Realm of Shoals of Ushabti. Once you kill them enough troops, that will go and turn a different colour. Just like what happens with the Dark Elves. It means I can spawn a unit of Ushabti, which is quite useful to spawn in. I don't see my Tomb Scorpion at the moment, and you can see he's very strong. Green lights against all of them. Such an overpowered unit. I'm just going to keep him here. Been revealed. Charging him against the men at arms now. Fellbats, have a go at those bowmen for me, please. And you can just see that he's just absolutely destroying things at the moment. Arkhan has magic. Strong resisting single pattern. Spirit Leech, quite useful. Let's leech Cedric and let's get Arkhan on Cedric by here. Just going to leech him. You can see starting to lose a little bit of HP now. Right, Fellbats are losing decisively now that the cavalry's caught up. They might die. That's fine, I can recruit more. They're a throwaway. It doesn't matter if I lose them. Scorpion winning decisively. He's absolutely destroying them all. My missile troops, just going to keep them aiming up there. I actually got the bats out, which is great. I can use Aspect of the Dread Knight to cause terror. Let's cause terror. Give it to the Crypt Ghouls. They are nearby. I'm happy to leave the Scorpion in there. He's absolutely dominating at the moment. They haven't got a chance against the Tomb Scorpion. My Tomb Prince, Prince Berect, can try and take out these men at arms for me, which he's doing a good job against them anyway. That's a base level Tomb Prince, right? If I can jack him up with some good attributes, some better weaponry and stuff, then that's going to help him a hell of a lot in this campaign. Bats have come back. Let's get them back to the peasant bowmen over there. The two of you, aim for their peasants, keep them occupied. I've got peasant mob losing against my spears. Skeleton spears are throwaway. You can chuck them in willy-nilly, it's not a problem. I'm going to chuck my Scorpion in on this flank by here. And let's give you the kill ratio. It's killed 41 so far. And that's just going to go up and up and up. And he's barely lost any health at all. Prince Berect doing a fantastic job. Arkhan's almost defeated this guy. Let's use Spirit Leech on him again though. Because I will absolutely finish him off. And this is what Arkhan looks like. He looks amazing. Absolutely dominating right now. And you can see their lords running away. Don't stand a chance. I'm not going to be able to show you Ushabti in this battle, I think, because there's just not enough troops to kill here. It does take quite a bit. Actually, I think it's current deaths as Tomb King's warriors die in the battlefield. It's my troops when they die, I think it is, actually. Yeah, gives you different tiers as well for it. It's quite a useful little tool, though. But it works very similar to the way the Dark Elves one works. And the Scorpion just absolutely decimating most things. My Fellbats are running away slightly, so let's just pull them away. Let the Scorpion do the work. You can take out Knights Errants, no problem. You can take them all out, the Scorpion. And there we go. It was quite an easy battle. Just going to end it there. Saying close victory. I don't think it was that close, to be honest, though. Scorpion 74 kills. Crypto's 121, actually. It's not too bad. Archers didn't do too well. Arkhan didn't get his kill on the general, although he did, you know, chase him off. Prince Berek, the Tomb Prince, got 23. But overall, fairly happy with that. They are a nice sort of army to use early on. I actually lost my Crypt Ghoul unit here, so a little bit of inconsistency with me the way I was fighting that. Now this is what is quite interesting. So Canopic Jars, you can get them by leveling up your load and going for certain attributes, winning certain battles, quests and stuff. And also by here, I can get 30 by here for harvesting organs. I can replenish if I wanted to, or get money and camping map movement. I'm going to get the jars. There we go. Enemy killed in battle. Arkhan leveled up. And I'm gonna go for Root Marcher to start off with, because I can get around a bit quicker and hit him where it hurts. I have lost one unit, which is a bit of a shame. And you'll see on here now, Mortuary Cult, 30 jars. I'm gonna need a few more, give me about 100 or so to try and get something. I can get Flock of Jaff and get 100. But it is quite a useful little thing to go for. So if I show you the diplomacy, which is also another important aspect of this campaign. Start off over here. Do it by attitude. So you're at war with Khemri. I cannot negotiate with this faction. So story-wise, you hate each other basically, Arkhan and Cetra, and nothing you can do about it. You cannot negotiate with them at all. And also Knights of the Flame, the faction I just fought. I can't end my war with them or anything. There's two factions I just can't negotiate with at all. But apart from that, you can negotiate with anybody. So you got the Vampire Coast over here, Luther Harkon. Got the Dwarves, Soderbergh. And that's pretty much it to start off with, the factions that you would have known to. You know that the High Elves are down here, there's Lizard Men down here, there's Skaven down here, Wood Elves around here, and lots of Tomb King factions in the middle. And you'll come across them as you go along. Personally, I'd recommend wiping out the Tomb Kings as quick as you can and being the dominant Tomb King faction. Research is also available here. Let's go for the first Wisdom of the First Dynasty then. Let's get that off the bat. We'll end our first turn. And personally, one of my favourite factions by far. This Arkhan the Black Tomb Kings faction. I had a lot of joy with my previous campaign. Now he's gone into Lashiek and retreated there. He's recruiting. Mission issued. Construct a building that permits recruitment of more units. Well, that's fine because we're actually doing that now. In one more turn, that will give us more money, so that's great. So he's gone there to Lashiek, licking their wounds, trying to recruit more troops. And Lashiek also has a bunch of troops there. They outnumber us quite well. But I can entomb beneath the sands here to replenish myself. I could recruit globally, and this is the best thing about it. Globally, it usually costs so much money. It doesn't here. At the cost of an extra turn, I could recruit a shitload of units if I wanted to. So I could just go, I need to replace that Crypt Ghoul I lost. I actually want a bit more mobility. I'll get a Direwolf. Actually, I could do with a lot of infantry because I haven't got enough infantry here. Let's go for Skeleton Warrior. I'm not losing any money at all. And for the next 2 turns, I can just replenish as much as I want to and go back in again and do it all the same like I did before. If I wanted to, I could go back across the border and replenish that way and recruit that way. Because obviously I can't recruit with another army here like I would in other campaign, in other factions in this campaign. So with the Tomb Kings, I am limited to sort of do that. So I got to make a decision: do I go back over the border to recruit, or do I entomb and recruit? We can recruit, entomb, and global is not going to be a detriment apart from an extra turn. So it's worth doing it that way as well. So I can do that. I can end turn. See what they do. See what the AI wants to do. Of course, I don't have to attack Lashiak. I could ignore that and go straight for Kofa if I wanted to, or I could go to one of the other settlements that they own. I don't have to have them here. I could wait for them to actually sally out. Mission successful. I've gained more money. Mission issued. Recruit. Maintain a total of 8 units of the following type: spears or warriors. I've only got 1 actually at the moment. Obtain access to the following resource: pottery. Again, you can get that from trade or by taking someone's settlement that has pottery. Up by here, Kofa, they actually have pottery. Easy target, go up there, take that settlement. I have pottery, so I could do it that way as well. Sorcerer's Isle is there for the taking, I think, so I might just go over there now, or in the next turn once I finish recruitment. They are still recruiting. They're going to be a while, I think. So I'll end turn. And you can see I've got a lot of money because I'm not really spending anything, am I? The only time I spend money is when I'm upgrading a settlement. I don't spend any money on my army. It costs nothing, and that's absolutely amazing. I could use the Blood Axe tribe here to get in the way of Lashiak. They might go in and try and raid them or take them out. Matter of fact, looks like that's what they're doing right now. They're raiding their lands. They're going to be suffering attrition. They're going to be losing out because of this. Prince Berekt has leveled up. Make him better in battle, Indomitable Will, and go down that road if I want to. I will be planning to use him in battle, so that's what I'll do. I've got some more troops here now. I've got 11 in total. I could raid here myself if I want to. Could just march to Sorcerer's Isle, or I could fast travel by doing a march. Get as far as they with march.
Do you take me for a challenge?
Which is what I'll do. I'll go as far as the border here. If they attack me, that's fine, because they'll be out in the field where I can hurt them. And then I can end turn. It is a bit slow burning. I will warn you, it is a slow burning campaign. The first sort of 5-10 turns, you're doing this sort of thing, but you can afford to. You're not in a rush like with the Vortex, where you've got other factions constantly ticking you on and trying to beat you. And look, Blood Axe Tribe's actually gone in and fought them there. It looks like they're besieging them. So while they are in the way of Lashiak by here and attacking them, causing them issues by the looks of things with their army, I can just ignore that completely. Click on none. Sorcerer's Isle's there for taking. Get over there now. Can I get there this turn? I think I can. And it's an easy auto resolve, isn't it? I haven't lost anyone. No units anyway. Raise it for Canopic Jars, sack it, or occupy. I'm going to occupy it. I'm getting money all the time for doing this. And Canopic Jars. And then Arkhan has leveled up. What are we going to go with for this time? Well, I did say I want to go down and get Tomb Strike. So maybe we make Arkhan much better in battle. Or we improve his Spirit Leech. Let's get the Spirit Leech up, because he is going to be going hand-to-hand combat against their lords. That's what I'm going to be aiming to do with him. Single enemy lords out with our lord, and try and break them that way by hurting their morale. But we're taking Sorcerer's Isle, which is a little bit unstable. And we start off with a Bone Wharf. And get a Grave Port if we upgrade our main settlement. Upgrade that to get the Hekara Warriors. I'm going to want to do that. So I can spend the 4,000 on that. And while I'm here, I can recruit again. And you know what? I can get as many as I want to. So I could go... You know what? I want to get more Crypt Ghouls. Max the Crypt Ghouls out. Even though I've got 1 slot left, I've maxed out 4 out of 4. I could do with more archers. I've only got the 2. And then I could go, do you know what? I'm going to be at least 2 turns, I think, to help stabilize the province. I'll wait the other 2 turns and I'll max things out. Maybe I'll get another Fellbat unit. Definitely want to get the last remaining archer unit. And maybe, I know there's a quest going on for skeleton spears and warriors. Let's get some more skeletal warriors here. And I can do that. And you can see in 2 turns I got 6 units. And I've replenished a bit more. And I can end turn. I can see what happens. Either the beastmen attack and fail at Lashiak, but it's worked in our favour because slow them down. In 2 turns I can go out and attack them. Knights of the Flame, and look at this, they're actually sailing towards us. They've left Lashiak. And it looks like they're going to besiege me, possibly. Beastmen have actually moved towards them. There we've got the Forbidden Coast coming down here. We've got Gulf Raiders all over the place with feral mammoths of all units, which is quite interesting. And then you get these that pop up as well. Choice of servants, so I can actually just get money. I can say, you know what, thank you, I'll have that. Increase hero capacity, and I get a hero Lich Priest, I can get a Tomb Prince, or I can get a Necrotect. I'll get the Necrotect for some diversity.
I need more.
Mission issued, successfully carry out any hero action for some jars. And start the turn, if I got 250 at the start of a turn of Canopic Jars, I'll get 3,000 in the money. Game that just keeps rewarding you. This is my Necrotect that's been recruited at Caliph's Palace.
Eternally loyal.
Like any other agent or unit, I can have them in battle. I can give them a steed at level 14, make them really difficult to beat in battle. They do armor piercing, which is going to be useful later down the line. I can get this, which is Canopic Jar Hoarder, which means that I automatically get 1 per turn just from having this unit alive. So lots of cool things you can do. I think this pretty much gives you a nice little summary and introduction to this faction. I won't go much more into it now, guys. If you do have any questions, or if you want to see a part 2, then please let me know and I'll make that video for you, and I'll help you all out as best as I can in the comment section. I've been Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.